say, well, Trump wouldn't have won unless Putin had intervened. Frankly, 2016 has been a year of political revolution. The people have spoken.
Yes.
There's been massive change. And what we're seeing from the establishment and their friends in the liberal media, frankly, they can't accept the result. They're doing everything they can to try to overturn it. Well, do you know what? It isn't going to happen.
When will we realize that Russia's strategy is to weaken and divide the free world, and that driving the biggest refugee flows into Europe since World War II is a deliberate part of that plan? And when will we admit that what Putin can't achieve militarily, he is already achieving using cyber and propaganda warfare? I don't think we have even begun to wake up to what Russia is doing when it comes to cyber warfare. Not only their interference, now proven in the American presidential campaign, probably in our own referendum last year. We don't have the evidence for that yet, but I think it's highly probable.
British national has been arrested at a London airport on suspicion of hacking a German company. Last year, a cyber assault on Deutsche Telekom affected around 1 million people, causing a massive online shutdown.
100 UK nuclear alerts exposed by an independent nuclear watchdog have revealed how close the world has come to disaster. The report also shows that 116 British nuclear workers have died from accidents and cancer caused by radioactive contamination. Some of the incidents are particularly worrying. The Royal Navy mistakenly took nuclear depth charges to the Falklands War in 1982 aboard the ship on which Prince Andrew was serving. And in southern England in 1987, the Defence Ministry imposed an information blackout after 4 nuclear bombs slid off a truck into a roadside ditch. Then British and French submarines, both carrying nuclear warheads, nearly collided in the Atlantic in 2009.
Well, hold the high fives. Police officers in a small Massachusetts town forced to cancel High Five Fridays at an elementary school. Some worried that a small few, worried that uniformed officers could upset undocumented children and minorities.
So my understanding is mostly from social media.
Okay.
It sounds like a small majority of the population was against High Five Fridays, this initiative.
How small?
That really came about. So there was a meeting. Apparently a parent felt that children of color, and particularly undocumented children or children who had previous poor experiences in the past with police, would feel intimidated or threatened with police presence in the elementary schools.
So did you say one parent complained and they stopped it?
That's my understanding.
Mm. And is not the
I wasn't
point...
at the meeting, so unfortunately...
Sure.
From social media.
Which both agencies just released separate letters within the last few moments or so. And what this is doing is essentially issuing a directive to schools to disregard the order that President Obama issued a year ago, last year, about student restrooms and transgendered students. Now, this is something that has been hanging over the government here, and the Trump administration, with the Supreme Court case pending in a Virginia case, decided to issue this directive saying that they will not stand by the order that the president signed last year, President Obama signed last year. So it is certainly something that is controversial in this context, but we are still waiting for a statement from the White House tonight.
Between left-wing constituents and Republican lawmakers continued, as we just saw last night, in town halls across the country. But in some cases, though, things were not what they seemed. For example, some activists have unilaterally called for town hall meetings. And that's what happened in Las Vegas when an angry crowd discovered they would not be meeting with the Republican Senator Dean Heller. The senator's office told a local TV station the organizers of the event intentionally misled people who turned out. At other town hall meetings, voters and their elected officials have been going face-to-face. Near Tucson last night, as we just saw, Republican Congresswoman Martha McSally spent 90 minutes fielding some very tough questions from constituents, most of whom, by the way, were Democrats. The meeting, for the most part, was civil, few tense moments. But in some cases, though, angry activists, frustrated about not having the chance to confront their elected official, took their case to the lawmaker's home, and that's what happened when about 200 people showed up on the doorstep of Republican Congressman Darrell Issa near San Diego. Issa was not there, but we are told his staff handed out cookies.
Dia, who helped write that Indivisible Guide. You saw him, and Leah Greenberg, and I appreciate both of you being here tonight. And there's a lot to ask you about. Leah, let me start with you. The White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer just today said these protests are being organized for media attention. Now, obviously, media attention in and of itself is a good thing, right? What's your response to him?
All that we're telling people to do, and this is Civics 101, is contact your representative, tell them your concerns, and try to get them on the record and talk about where they're standing, and do it in public, because that's what a member of Congress should be doing.
All right, and shame on Iowa Republican Senator Joni Ernst for thinking that she might be able to help veterans at a town hall meeting meant to do just that. Army veteran Pete Hegseth is here on all of this, Fox News contributor, of course, served this country nobly. Pete, I don't know where to go with this, but the irony was that this was all about helping veterans, so she never got the chance to spell out exactly how, but it is what it is. What do you think of it?
Yeah, and of course, there's nothing to fix at the VA, right? No problems. There hasn't been a scandal. There's no reason to be worried about whether or not we're going to deliver basic services to veterans. Joni Ernst served our country for 23 years. She served in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. She's not scared of these protesters. She wanted to have a town hall to talk about how we fix the VA for veterans. Instead, she got a bunch of protesters screaming at her. That's not a discussion, and never had a chance.
They're important to hold, but I also worry about protesters who come in, whether they're all from that congressman or woman's district or senator's district, or state in this case, in the case of the Senate, because some of them seem so well organized and so well planned. I'm not saying all.
Yeah.
I am saying this is happening with a frequency and a coordination, the likes of which I've never seen.
Of course it's coordinated. I mean, this is the left's discredit, revolt, undermine Donald Trump's strategy. And they're going to do it with people that live in the district who are liberals and progressives and leftists who hate Donald Trump. But they're also going to bust in or bring in whoever they need to or organize people to come there to make a political point because the leftists hate Donald Trump.
You know, it is interesting to watch this happening. I mean, is this more of a knee-jerk reaction that we are seeing from the liberal community, or is there more to it than that?
I think there's more to it, but I love town hall drama. I love it, and I don't care if it's Move On that's doing it or the Tea Party that's doing it. It's entertaining, and I think all congressmen should face the wrath of their constituents.
It's entertaining to you, but some are very emotional about it. It's
poor congressman, he can't answer a question, please. Come on.
Some of them have required security showing up.
Oh, listen, if they're rabble-rousing and they're a threat, you know, boot them out. But I have to say, there is a difference. The Tea Party got started a year or two after Obama took office, and they were protesting policies like the stimulus and the bailouts and Obamacare. Now, the left is out there after 1 month. I don't think Congress has passed anything, so I don't really know exactly what they're protesting. There's a little bit of AstroTurf going on. That's fine. It's politics.
Over an apparently racially motivated killing of an Indian expatriate in the United States. Srinivas Kuchibhatla died at the age of 32 after he was shot in a crowded suburban bar near Kansas City. Another Indian expatriate and an American bystander were also wounded in the attack. The gunman, Adam Purinton, has been arrested and charged with premeditated first-degree murder.
Grief is uniting people in the Kansas town of Olathe after a killing which some believe was motivated by racial hatred. On Wednesday night, Austin's Bar and Grill was crowded. 51-year-old Adam Purinton is said to have yelled, "Get out of my country," at two Indian men before pulling a gun and opening fire. The man who died later in hospital was Srinivas Kuchibotla. He's said to have been an engineer for local GPS maker Garmin.
So I got up and proceeded to chase him down, try to subdue him so that way the police could come in and do what they needed to do. And I guess I miscounted and with everything going on, and I got behind him and he turned around and fired around at me. Went through my hand and through my chest here, and then over to the left side of my chest. Barely missed my carotid artery, I guess.